I'm getting too many synchronicities, and it's just showing me just how powerful my energy and Ashe is. Like words are powerful, thoughts are powerful, and things like that. So I've just been thinking realistically in this current state that we living in, and I had some revelations after sitting down talking with some men folk or just reminiscing on conversations that I had with men in the past. So, in my humble opinion, males that are 30 and under have a chance of redemption. But the men that's 40 and over, what you see is what you get. Is it possible for those men to make a change or change their approach in their lifestyle? Yes, anything is possible. There are some that are going to make a positive change in their life, and maybe it even may be beneficial for them in their life. But this is my humble opinion. Now, let me tell you something. I really have some good, upstanding men in my life that are not like my boyfriend or nothing like that, but like men I'm related to, friends, that type of thing. But I'm gonna be realistic about some things because it's something I feel needs to be said and needs to be verbalized, and I'm pretty sure some people have, but I'm gonna say it in my way. Okay. Um, I really believe that during the 60s and 70s, when drugs came on the scene, it really, really changed the family dynamic, along with social programs like, welfare and AFDC or whatever they call it, public housing, all of those types of things. A lot of things came into effect. Okay. But prior to that, I'm talking about these men that's in their 50s and 60s and up, right? They may have had fathers in their life. The culture was different back then. Men were encouraged to marry women, okay, and take on their responsibilities and do what needed to be done for the family dynamic. So it was frowned upon for men to run away from their responsibilities and neglect their responsibilities. Not saying that it wasn't done because, yeah, it was deadbeat daddies since the beginning of time. That's just what it is. All right. But there were some men that were raised by men. And I've seen this with my own eyes. And I can speak even from my own lineage. Okay? Don't mean to step on no toes, but truth is truth. And I ain't never had no problem expressing truth from my observation. Okay? So, my maternal grandfather, he was a great provider as far as making sure that his children had food, clothing, and shelter. He had 14 children with my grandmother. He had other kids outside of my grandma, what us country folk call outside children. So he probably had about, that we actually know of, a total of maybe about 22 to 25 children. 14 of those were with my grandmother. My grandfather was a sharecropper. He could not read or write, but he knew how to grow things. He knew how to raise farm animals and things like that. He knew when it comes to agriculture, he knew his thing. That man was like, I don't know, he had a special connection with the earth, and he really knew his shit. And that's something I can't take away from my grandfather. He managed to provide for 14 children, kept their ass alive until they was able to hold their own. My grandfather also had very little emotional intelligence, meaning that he really didn't know how to process emotions. Because let's be, realistic, there were no outlets for black men. Please. Black people, period. Therapy, what's that? Motherfuckers back then was still figuring that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And even to this day, they still figuring it out. Point is, my granddaddy was abusive. He was. He was abusive. Abusive towards his children. My family swore up and down. I ain't never heard no one ever say that he ever put his hands on my grandmother, but he damn sure put his hands on his children. And some of his children and offsprings got this mindset that is what was needed and that it didn't kill us. But what they don't realize, well, when you in the midst of chaos can feel normal to you, because if that's your everyday lifestyle, then that's what feels normal. And you really don't have another lifestyle to compare and contrast it to. So your chaos is your normal. You understand what I'm saying? So I will have offsprings from my lineage that would disagree with what I'm saying, but they have that right to their opinion. I'm not here to rebuttal that, but I'm here to give my opinion on the fact that my grandfather lacked emotional intelligence, and that sometimes he took his disciplinary actions too far, to the point that it traumatized some of his offsprings, to the point that that trauma played out in other generations. And I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. When you beat an underage prepubescent child so bad to the point that she has knots in her back, that's taking it too far. But you will have those who normal is chaos would say, instead of holding the abuser accountable, what they would say is, well, what did that person do to get that person that upset? You know what I'm saying? But that's what damaged, unhealed, traumatized people say when their norm is chaos. So when you are a boy raised up in those types of environments, and you see all the positive things that these men have brought to the forefront, that has how they have benefited the lives of all their offsprings that they created by feeding, clothing, and sheltering them, and teaching them life skills like agriculture and work ethics and things like that, it's hard to hold them accountable for their flaws. So you have generations of men who were raised by men that lack emotional maturity, that did not know how to process their emotions. That norm was, it's okay to beat on your wife. It's okay to abuse your children as long as you feed and clothe and shelter them, because they themselves were brought up in oppression. You understand? So let's get back to today, this timeline. So you got these men who are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s and up, right? Who possibly who had the influence of their grandfather or their fathers in their life, right? And from that, they learn good work ethics. They learn how to maintain their own family, but they just couldn't seem to keep a fucking mate, right? Is it perhaps that they avoided accountability, that they avoided holding the people that committed abuse throughout the generations to hold them accountable for their actions, even their wrongdoings, even their wrong actions? They refuse to acknowledge it or say, hey, that wasn't right. So what happens is, hold on. What happens is they end up having kids with people. Relationship don't work out. They end up getting put on child support. And it's all women this, women that. And the whole time their subconscious is wishing, man, they don't make women like they used to. They just don't make women like they used to. You women just got it wrong. Da 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 da. No, women tolerated abuse and was silent about it more back then, and they made dysfunction look good. And you wanted that life because you looked up to abusive motherfuckers. Yeah, okay. So now here you are in your 50s, 60s and up, 40s, 50s, 60s and up, right? You see your sisters, your mothers, well, your mama probably didn't quite get it. Your sister, on the other hand, she might have not quite got it. But your niece, your daughter, your grandchildren, the older ones, they fucking got it. They on some old fuck nigga free shit. You know what I'm saying? Because see, back then, y'all be talking about they don't make women like they used to. See, here's the truth of the matter. Women had to have permission or a signature or an okay of a man to own property, to vote, to own shit. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have access to money or education or the things that were deemed acceptable for a man. They didn't have education. And men would hark on their insecurities. It's kind of how they kept them in check, right? But see, nowadays, that shit has changed. Now everybody has access. Every fucking body, even children, have access to money, making money. Everybody has access. Even people with criminal records have access to starting their own businesses, being entrepreneurs. Hell, you don't even have to have a website. Offer up places, those types of websites, marketplace where you can sell used goods and things like that. It's too many ways, too much access to money and resources. And see, men had a monopoly over that for a long time. Y'all had the opportunities to do the right thing and evenly distribute the power, but y'all wanted to keep it all to yourselves. And now we living in an age where, and here, we living in an age now where those stipulations don't apply to what applied to your grandmother and your mom. You understand? People are educating themselves. They have the internet. So they have access, free access, might I add, to the manipulation and the head games that didn't have a name, but now has a name and can be identified when you're being, what's the word, gaslit, or when somebody's stonewalling you. Those strategies and tactics that men harped upon for years, and just y'all didn't consider the mental abuse and the stuff, the trauma that they pass down to their children. And then yet you want to point the finger at women, never holding your pops and granddad accountable for how they made these women. It turned out. And see, when men realized that they couldn't do that type of shit no more, they start jumping from pillar to post. It's just like, well, okay. Well, I'm not going to change my ways, but what I am going to do is jump from woman to woman to woman, spreading my dysfunction like a fucking plague. But people are aware now. They woke. They done caught on. It's too many videos, too many therapists, too many psychologists, male and female alike, that are exposing the darkness and the strategies and the ways that y'all that put y'all on top for so long. So now what's happening is these men that are in their 40s and up, 40 plus, they never tried to learn a new strategy. They never tried to do the right thing. They never had come to Jesus moments and say, okay, maybe my approach is wrong. Maybe I need to stop this. Maybe I need to take a look at all the detrimental effects that my approach has had on women and children. They don't think like that. They just feel entitled to a woman. And that a woman just supposed to accept the dysfunction. They don't do no emotional healing and no emotional exploration within themselves. But I guess that's going to be blamed on mama. Well, mama told me to man up. Well, that's all she heard from a man that she looked up to and was submissive to, then what the fuck? It all goes back. But at the end of the day, y'all are, see, and this is another thing, and I hope young men in their 20s and under are watching this. Y'all listen to me. I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of y'all have access to porn. Y'all have access to all types of gadgets, just like women do too. So this is not to single out men, but just hear me out. Men are more sexually active than women. Men get more horny than women. Men like to masturbate more than women. Do you understand? And so, if you constantly masturbating, you don't even realize the seeds, your sperm, it carries the spark of life. That's your life force. Do you understand? And every time you jack off, you giving a little bit of your life force away, whether it be inside of a woman, inside of a man's anus, or on the sheets, or in a sock, or whatever. You're giving your life force away. Whether you're giving your life force to an image that you see on your screen, you're giving away your life force. You understand? Some of y'all men don't have the capability or the mindset. Y'all can't even fathom calling your energy back to you. Y'all don't believe in preservation. Y'all live in the moment. You understand? And for so long, every day of your life, you made a lifestyle out of living in the moment. Okay? And then real life happens. After all your hard work and having to prove to yourself that you're a real man, then your body and your health starts giving you signs that, hey, something ain't right. Something ain't right. But you're so used to putting your ego into the forefront that you don't even listen to your subconscious or your body talking to you. So when you reach the ripened age of 40, Your penis don't stay hard and erect like it did when it was in its 20s. Why? Because you have given out so much of your fucking life force. You don't know what moderation is. You don't know what fasting is. You haven't applied those principles to your life. So then, when you was young and gave women pleasure, and women was so out to give you pussy, or excuse me, to have sex with you, and even if you didn't have no self-confidence, you were content with putting your seed and watching it grow with no contribution. That was enough to stroke your ego, to make you feel like a fucking man. But some of y'all took care of y'all kids, which made y'all feel entitled to your children's freedom. That you feel like you can dictate because you ain't healed yourself and you ain't went into yourself and felt your own emotions and dealt with your own truths and held yourself accountable for your actions and making an actual effort to change certain ways that ain't benefiting you. So it plays out in your health. So when you can't perform like you once did, that start fucking with your ego and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all hate women even more. You hate women because they didn't fulfill your fantasy, what you saw your daddy and granddad doing. Then you start resenting women. Then you start looking to your kids like they owe you something. You know what I'm saying? But truth be told, as a mother, or even talking to a father, our kids really don't belong to us. They were our assignments. You understand? The minute that you decided to give life or to birth this individual, you made the choice of taking on the responsibility of giving them life and teaching them how to be their own, independent souls. And they're not going to be you. And you should not resent them for not being you or moving like you or making choices and decisions based on what you made your choices and decisions on. What worked for you don't work for them. That's why they have their own fucking soul. They don't belong to you. So you walk around not never facing yourself and feeling your own emotions and holding your own self accountable. Now you looking for other people to project onto, those closest to you. Walking around with this false sense of entitlement like they fucking owe you something. They don't owe you shit. No woman owes you nothing. That's when reality hits you. That you should have treated people like you wanted to be treated. But you decided to follow the influence of, well, that's all I know, that's all I know. Well, I'm going to say this. Not everything my parents did was correct. But at some point in my life, I became an adult. And I had to decide how I needed to move. Now, some of the things and some of the moves I made were based on the mistakes of my parents. And said, you know what? This is what I'm not going to do. And some things I said, you know what? They did this worked for me, so this is what I'm going to do for my children because it worked for me as a child. But at the end of the day, back to men and stuff that hit their 40s and 50s, I feel for y'all. I feel for you. Because y'all invested so much into your ego. And then your ego is showing you like, okay, what is your ego doing for you in this present moment? How's your ego helping you sustain life and doing things for yourself and all that stuff? Is it fulfilling you? Then that's when you got to be facing your truth. And some people avoid their truth by drinking and giving themselves distractions. But at the end of the day, man, accountability. Y'all young men, let me tell you something. You may not have had the most positive parents, male and female, mother and father, and or either or. But baby, what you can do is say, okay, this is what I'm not going to do. You Rome won't build in the night, and you ain't gonna figure everything out overnight. Give yourself time. But the ultimate thing is giving yourself self-love, not expecting somebody else to fulfill you, but to fulfill yourself. At the end of the day, when it comes down to a mate, it comes down to this. Stop trying to make people what you want them to be just because there are certain qualities and traits in them that you like and that you could see potential in. But if that person's not compatible with you, they're just not. Don't try to make them be something that they're not. Accept what is. So if they're compatible with you in one way but in not another, that's when you got to make the choice. Can I tolerate this or do I need to leave? But whatever you do, you don't have the right to try to change people. Shit, change yourself to adapt to their ways, if anything. Or just work on you. It's late at night. It's cold. It's fall, and the air is dry, and I'm getting congested. So I think I'm gonna stop talk there. Young men, I'm gonna tell you things that's gonna help you. Okay. Number one, refrain from all this ejaculation. I mean, nature gonna take its course, but don't ejaculate because you bored. Okay. Don't do it for health concerns. Don't do it because, oh, I'm bored, I'm horny. Oh, I thought about this popped up in my head type shit. Have more self-control over yourself. You got to be able to control your higher self and your lower self. And that's what a lot of men ain't going to tell you. Okay? Learn to have control over your lower nature. Because, see, I'm going to tell you some real shit because I give a fuck. If you gain control over your lower nature, you cannot be tempted and lured, nor can sex be used as a weapon against you. You understand? Having the ability to shut down your sex drive, having that mind over body type shit, and it's definitely possible. It is. I'm not a man, but as a woman, I can say that I don't know what it's like to be a man and his sex drive, so I can't speak for y'all. But what I'm saying is, if you learn how to gain control over your sex drive, you will be one powerful, untouchable motherfucker. And not only that, it will increase. I don't even know how the fuck I know this, because I ain't no man. But I'm telling you, it will increase your intuition and your awareness. And you will be able to see so much about a person. Like, if a person that use sex as a weapon, and they're so used to dealing with men who don't have no control over their nature, that when they come across someone who can control their nature, you'll be able to see a side of them that they don't really expose to people. You see what I'm saying? That's if you paying attention. Trying to teach you young men some shit, okay? Control your body. Control your lust. Do it for you, not necessarily for a woman or nothing like that. But having self-respect for yourself. Refraining from sex, especially if you're sexually attracted to a woman, but you're not pressing her. Bro, let me tell you, that is such a fucking turn on. And it made women want you even more, to the point they be throwing themselves at your ass. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. A man that says, let's have a period of celibacy, that ain't actually trying to use this as a manipulation or a tactic, but actually fucking mean it, man, you'll have that woman eating out of your palm. And I'm just being honest. Not that I want you to have somebody eating out of your palm, but what I'm saying is, self-control is the most sexiest thing alive. Having control over yourself and not being easily manipulated and easily swayed by carnal desires is such a fucking turn on. Oh my God. But men that constantly talking about sex, gotta talk about his penis. He is so insecure and it shows. It's like, slap a damn I'm insecure sign right on that fucking forehead. So young men, learn how to control your lower nature. Gain control over your lower nature. Turn that bitch on and off at will. That will make you a powerful, untouchable motherfucker in the physical and in the spiritual. It's like, you know, like an hourglass, right? When the sand is at the top, it's empty at the bottom. Or it's like when you hold out in your physical, it strengthens the spiritual. I hope y'all can understand where I'm coming from. So when you strengthen in your spiritual, you have foresight, you have intuition, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to feel and see things for what they are, not what they appear to be. I want to see a new wave of men that have conquered their fucking demons. Quite frankly, I feel like 40 and up, the chances are nil. I'm just being honest. That's how I feel. But I ain't saying it ain't impossible. But it's you 20 and under. That's the ones I'm talking to. Like my sons and my nephews' age. Y'all. People my age and up. The motherfuckers is washed the fuck up. They set in their ways. Okay? So, yeah. Control your lower nature. Gain control over that. Gain control over your shadow man. Don't let that motherfucker control you. You control it. You give it jobs, duties, and assignments. Give it a schedule. But y'all ain't ready for them type of conversations.